Hardest thing about being homeless is you have no control of your life. You don't have control of getting up when you want to, going to bed when you want to, where you sleep, what you eat, what you wear, how you're going to get clean, where you're going to go. Just your whole life is totally out of control. And just it makes you want to give up.
Unemployment has been paying all of my bills lately when I can, but I'm getting just over $800 a month unemployment, and I'm paying over $700 a month in bills, so that doesn't leave me anything for anything else.
I never really suspected it until one day it just happened.
It's one of those things that you hear about happening, but you never actually figure it's going to happen to you. And then when it does, you have an idea of what it is you should do, but the whole shock of it initially really kind of leaves you reeling for a little bit. You have to kind of run around and call people on the phone and find out what's available. And
I was living just like anybody else. And then today I'm homeless, living in my SUV, moving from place to place, service to service to get meals.
We started out at the Walmart parking lot, and we just go wherever.
Living in my vehicle is a very culture shock.
Yes, it is.
I'm at wit's end now. I'm on the last of the money that I had from unemployment. And once I'm out of that, I'm on the street. And I'm not really prepared for street homelessness. Shelter homelessness is its own thing to deal with. Street homelessness is an entirely different thing to deal with, and I just don't think I'm ready for it.
And when I was first in this position, I applied for food stamps a couple different times.
We don't want to be this way. We want to be like it used to be. It's very degrading. People look at you like you are, like a drug addict. You know, you're a criminal when you're not. Not everybody's like that. Just because you're homeless, it could happen to anybody at any time. In this economy, at any time, you can be just like me.
Paying out over $700 a month doesn't leave me anything to even bank anything to save on.
Because you never know when it's going to happen to you.
Look at these people. They are your neighbors, they are your sisters, they are your brothers. I think the bad thing about the unemployment situation is that so many people have become unemployed who wouldn't before and are facing difficulties with homelessness. But the good news is that people are starting to become aware that this isn't just a problem with homelessness. These aren't just some class of people who are drunk and not trying to work, that this is your neighbor. This is your neighbor who lost their job, both of them, and now cannot afford their mortgage payments.
The old homeless kind of falls into one or two categories. The one you always saw in the movies where, you know, you had these sort of like the enlightened bum who knew things, but he was, you know, living in an alley and eating out of garbage pails. But and then, of course, you've got the pictures that everybody's seen, 60s, 70s, and 80s, somebody sleeping in a doorway or sleeping in an alley and, you know, in a cardboard box. The kind of people that I think we're getting now are probably better educated people.
So people living on the street, people living in cars under the bridge, and also people living in housing that isn't their normal housing. It's not their housing. They're living doubled up or tripled up or in motels that wouldn't be their normal housing. Those are also considered people who are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless.
And slowly but surely you start, you know, winnowing away pieces of your life, and finally even that's not enough. And you wind up getting the notice that, you know, well, you can't live here anymore, and, you know.
The Community Coalition on Homelessness in Bradenton provides 4 different programs. One of our most popular programs is the Transitional Development Program. This is for people who are looking for rental assistance. We help, when we have money from different sources, and when that money is available, we help people with security deposits, utility deposits, and rent. This is for people who are Manatee County residents who usually are looking for help either to get into an apartment or to stay in apartments. So it can be used for homelessness prevention or also to help them get out of homelessness. The vast majority of people who come here are looking for work, and I think the evidence of that is that we have 8 computers, a computer bank, and they're constantly full of people looking for work. And this is a very difficult situation right now because the number of jobs available are just so low that these people are all competing for the jobs, along with people who have better skills or a higher education level. It's very difficult.
The criteria for job connection is just a motivation and a willingness to do an application, to do a job search, provide me with an information so I can do an assessment on their both social economic needs as well as their social employment needs. And that's important because if there's obstacles and barriers to employment, maybe it's a single mom who needs childcare. We have to resource that and give them the appropriate referral. And maybe the individual who needs apparel for a job, we will access that in order to do an interview. Maybe somebody needs access to emergency services for their electrical bill. We have to stabilize those things in their life. Again, they're very critical factors when an employer's looking at the whole individual. Is this individual job ready?
We have people now coming in with master's degrees, even doctorates, who are finding that when they go to apply for a job now, they're overqualified. Nobody wants to take them because they're overqualified. People don't want to pay benefits. So those people are having a very difficult time finding a job, and they've never been in a situation before where they've had to apply for help or ask for help. It's an extremely humbling and very, very difficult situation for them.
I put in about 3 or 4 applications with the Florida Department of Transportation.
Yeah, I'm looking for like construction work.
For basically a basic highway maintenance worker.
Cashier, basically anything.
And I've received, in both cases, things, you know, I'm not qualified for the job. I'm not qualified to move a shovel, you know, dig asphalt.
But if that don't pan out, I guess a cook or something, you know, anything right now.
I think the general public would be surprised who's homeless. With our programs, we kind of guise it because people come to me, I get them job ready or show them how to be job ready. So when they're doing their interviews, they're dressed appropriately. Nobody knows they're going back to that shelter. Nobody knows they're going back to that transitional housing.
Our other program is the Open Door Day Resource Program that provides services for people who are living on the street or basic services, as we were talking about.
We're doing 15 to 18,000 units of service a month. We're seeing between 3,500 and 4,000 client visits a month. And to give you some kind of comparison for you to gauge that by, there was a time that we saw 300 visits, client visits in a month. Now we see that many in a day.
They can get showers, they can use the telephone, they can get their laundry done, they can get clothing, they can get basic needs that they would need if they were not living in a house.
If a homeless person will come to me and get a shower and a haircut and some nice clean clothes and has the ability to have an address and a phone number, and that way they can get a job, they can build a work history, and then they can go to the Community Coalition on Homelessness proper and be helped with rent and deposits. I'm like ground zero, and it's a place to start.
Mary provides information and referral for food stamps. She signs people up. She does taxes. She has notary certification, and she also helps people with social security problems that may have some problems trying to get disability payments. How do they get through the system? Mary's a full-time volunteer. This is our laundry facility, which we have clients are able to bring 10 pieces of clothing a week. Volunteers come in, take their clothing, wash it, dry it, and then hang it up here when it's done. This is a really needed service. If you have any kind of contact with camping, which most of them do, they really need to have a laundry service. Project HARP provides uniforms, school supplies, they provide transportation to make sure that the kids are stable in the school, so even if the parent has to move around and go from place to place, the kids have the stability of being able to stay in one school. Our other partner in this building, the other anchor, is Our Daily Bread, which is another 501c3 organization totally separate from us. And their mission is to provide food for people.
Our Daily Bread is basically a volunteer organization that provides meals to the hungry of Manatee County. Presently, we're serving about 250, 300 people daily. We do it 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And we always have staff available here, and mostly volunteer. Each day we have about 12 different volunteers serving at different capacities at different locations here. As a minimum, we try to serve 1,800 calories. It's made up of a salad and then a main course, and then we have a dessert, and a drink is also served with the meal. Anybody comes to the door, we serve. We serve until everybody is served. We don't close the door exactly at 11:30. If there's still people there, we serve until everybody has been fed.
We offer a free clinic, and the free clinic provides dental services. We do extractions and basic teeth cleaning and fillings, so we have all of the basic services for dental. And we also just started our medical program in partnership with LECOM, Lake Erie College of Medicine.
We actually originally thought that we might be seeing patients who had an urgent need to be seen. For example, stubbed their toe, had an open wound, things like that. But in reality, we're seeing some of those, but now we've kind of focused some on chronic diseases. People who have elevated blood sugars, or so-called diabetes, are coming in, and we're starting to manage their disease on a chronic, consistent basis. What we're evolving to look more like is a regular family doctor's office. This clinic is absolutely free to any of the clients or patients. We turn no one down for their ability to pay. As part, again, of the Lake Erie College of Athletic Medicine, we have medical students coming to the facility. The medical students interact with the patients because these are senior level students who've already had significant training, and their normal final year of medical school are to interact with patients on a same level as you would with a healthcare provider. They interact with the patients, and then as a supervisor or preceptor, I go in and I overview what they've done. What does it do for the students? Number one, it is certainly a learning experience within the realm of medicine, as they would have other rotations that they normally have in their curriculum. But secondly, it teaches them vicariously, or sometimes directly, the component of community service and leadership. So actually, through this vehicle of this clinic, we're providing a double duty service and education to the students.
This is our storage area, which, as you can see, gets used for a lot of different things. The primary reason for it is to collect donations from the community. Certainly cash is the thing that we really like the most because it's the most flexible and we can put it to use where we need it the most. We love donations of clothing, personal hygiene products. Actually appreciated our donations of bikes because bikes go right back out to the people. And for many of them, that's their only way of transportation. If people would just realize that they can make a difference just in a little bit of time, a little bit of donation. People think, oh, my $25, it can't do anything. $25 buys an ID. $25 buys a day's worth of services for the hygiene, for the water, for all of the overhead expenses, for clothing. $25 is important. $5 is important. Every little bit counts to us. And I think people at some point, they say, oh, I can't give, or I don't have time. But if you do give and you do find some time, you'll find that the reward is so much bigger than you ever thought it was going to be. It really is self-serving in a way to be able to do that. So I would encourage them to try.
I do not think that we can ever be totally complete in our life unless a part of our life has been used to help another person.